We stay right here.
Guys, yeah, just.
Oh, well, we're the Flatbush Flatlands Civic. I'm here supporting them, and they want to just make their voice be heard. The developer who owns a property in my district is going to be building a 200-unit homeless shelter. Have no problem with the homeless shelter because we want those services in the district, but they're actually building more units than exist in 3 blocks of the area. And so it's very unfortunate. We want to make sure we downsize that to maybe a little bit under 100. We haven't had any success doing that, so we're going to be protesting here, protesting the city, DHS, and protesting the organization WIN, who's doing it.
Now, have you spoken to Councilman Greenfield, who sits on the land committee now?
I've had conversation with Councilman Greenfield. Yeah, it's complicated because it began last administration, and but it's difficult because it's a new administration. But we're hoping somebody will never. There's 156 units in all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. 156 units. They want to build 198 units right behind there. How can you build more units than exist in all of these blocks surrounding the area? So again, we want our fair share. We want to make sure that the homeless emergency is dealt with. We want to make sure that we have these resources and services in this community, in the 45th district. But you have to do it in conjunction with the community. You have to take notice of the community character, and they did not do that here. Helm Equities, WIN, the city are putting on 198 units. 198 units of anything would be bad right here. If it was an apartment building with 200 units, it would be terrible to build that on 156 units of 1 or 2 family homes.
And the infrastructure is getting messed up from it. We already have blackouts. If you put this amount of stress on the area, we're gonna get more blackouts. The sewage system can't take it. The gas system can't take it. All the utilities. We already had an explosion in Harlem. We had a gas leak from them doing construction over there. This is too big of a structure in our area.
So all we are here today is asking them to downsize the project. 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 Downsize the project.
Some people watching this might say, wait a minute, you've been screaming for housing for years, now somebody wants to build, and all of a sudden, you're complaining about it. So what?
Oh no, 100%. We need these services, and we need housing. We have to do it in conjunction with the character of the neighborhood. So if they had come with the community and met with us, we could have maybe found a couple of locations to have all these units. The problem is the density of the project, and they want to put 200 units, basically making more than double what exists there. So I want to be clear we want these services. We have no problem with the homeless shelter, but have the community conversation. That's the problem.
Now, for the developers watching this, what exactly do you want them to do? You want to sit down with them tonight?
We're sitting down with him. He's a very nice guy. I think, obviously, he's not a bad person. I think he means well. I think there was a failure to communicate properly with the community at the beginning, and so now we're at the end, which is difficult, but I want him to join us in making sure that we speak to WIN and DHS that we have to have this project go further down. I know there's money involved. The project is almost built. It's it's about almost 4 stories with 200 units. You know, if this was in a place that had buildings, this is 1 or 2 family homes. So,
Mayor de Blasio, what's his opinion on this?
Well, I hope to speak with him about it soon. This is definitely something that happened before his time, but unfortunately he's here now, so he really has to start making sure that we deal with this project. It's not finished yet, it's not complete. There's an opportunity to bring it down a little bit. Fix our property damage! Fix our property damage! What do we want? Downsize. When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Back to the table! Back to the table! What do we want? Downsize. When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Come back to the table! Back to the table! Back to the table! Respect our community! Respect our community!
You're talking about a community that has 156 units, families, and now you want to add 198. It's like a cup of coffee. If you have a cup of coffee and you add in that same amount, 8 ounces, plus another 2 ounces, and increases 25%, you don't have a cup of coffee anymore. Essentially what they've done, or they're going to do, is change the nature of our community. That's unacceptable. And we're going to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, because this is just the first step. It's not just our community. It's our community today. Whose community will it be tomorrow?
So is Mayor de Blasio supporting your efforts?
At this time, I would assume that he has already made steps that are similar, where he's addressed issues that are similar to ours, where he's cut them back, and we want to make sure that we are next on that list. I mean, basically what it comes down to, squeaky wheel gets oiled, and if you're quiet, and we've been passive to this point because we would hope that they would come to the table, and to our detriment, we shouldn't have been.
Okay, now how would you differentiate to the people watching this? They hear, complaining about we want more housing, Now a guy does more housing, and now you're protesting.
It's not housing. It's not housing. It's warehousing. The folks that are accepted into this program, how many 198 families, they have no guarantee of housing. Yes, there are programs that will help them get housing, but if anyone would go back and take a look at the records, 30% of the people that enter a program, a homeless program or a homeless shelter, if only 30% of them are actually getting housing at the end of a 9-month, 10-month campaign, I would say that that's not a successful campaign. DHS may differ. However, I believe, considering the amount of money that's going into programs like this, there needs to be a better turnout. People need homes. That's what, they're homeless.
The thing about it is, the mayor wants to go with affordable housing. So we think that if he decided to do affordable housing in our area, it assimilates what we are. We're a working family group, and it would help those families to assimilate what we are. So we have no problem with the homeless coming, but we want programs that work, and we want it at a lower scale because the area is not built for all of that. And that's our major problem. 198 is just too big. And it's easy, as simple as that. It's like you're coming to an area that used to have 10 people and you're putting 200. It doesn't work. Transportation, everything like that, it will not work.
Now, how are the electric issues? Some people have been arguing that you're having problems already with, let's say, electric shortages.
Yes.
What is?
We have a lot of blackouts, and we have a lot of sewer problems because the infrastructure was built 100 years ago, which was built for that particular set of units. When you're adding 200 more units to it, it can't work. So it's a big problem.
Our next protest will be Tuesday, May 6th. It will be at the Waldorf Astoria. There is a WIN fundraising dinner. WIN, if you don't know, is the one that is developing this site on behalf of the city and who's developing it for the owner. So I want to make sure everybody will be there. It's at 6 p.m. sharp. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. The next protest.
The next protest
is at the Waldorf Astoria.
is at the Waldorf Astoria.
301.
301
Park Avenue.
Park Avenue.
Between
East 49th.
East 49th.
East 49th.
East 50th.
East 50th.